And so I was saying to the girl, because hey, we're live. Hey, everyone. How you guys doing? This is ESEA. We're at the penultimate match of the season. This is the lower bracket finals between SWIFT NA and Ascent. I'm here with Marxist. My name is Ro. I was not talking about anything illicit, and we're gonna be guiding ourselves through this match with the help of Console the cameraman. Marxist, we saw this team match up about a week or two ago, right? They were in the upper bracket, not upper bracket, but the very start of the bracket, really. What
Yeah,
do we see then?
it's a rematch in a lot of respects, Ro. They faced each other in a lot of different venues over this last several months. And pretty much every time they played each other, it has been really excellent display as far as TF2 is concerned and what competition in this game can really look like. They are very similar in many respects. And we saw some great trading between the two teams earlier in playoffs, just a few days ago, really. And we've also seen some highs and lows against other teams as well. The other two teams that were in our playoffs here. So, being the lower bracket final, though, one of them's done after tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be the end of someone's story. Swift was, if I'm not mistaken, they were second place of last season. Different members, I'm pretty certain of that.
Oh yeah.
Of last season, but they were second place in the season, knocking out Ascent and knocking out Badonsky's first non-playoffs contention since like single-digit ESEA or something. That's actually a fraud because I remember Mix-Up used to be Mix-Up existed up till 16 or 15.
Well, yeah, but Badonsky came on pretty strong with not the LG that had Tyrone and Banny on. If you're an older viewer, you might remember they went by LG. There was another LG that I think they ended up placing 8th because they died. But there were a lot of players on that LG team that ended up becoming Invite Legends, like Badonsky and Tagarung. And among a handful of others who were either there for the whole season or part of it. So he's the last of that crew, but I had my doubts about Badonsky if we want to talk about him a little bit. This season has been a return to form. I always used to say he was the best demo in Invite, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. I thought maybe he peaked, maybe he was losing interest, but not so anymore. He has turned in some great performances.
And let's hopefully ride that same, amount of hype for Badonsky as he stomps Swift and reclaims his playoffs every season badge streak, starting from number 1. He's got to start building. He's got to start somewhere to get that streak back up to where it used to be. And hopefully that tonight he will earn that for his team, but mostly for himself.
Yeah. Sometimes there does need to be a little bit of eye in team. But SVIFT, they've kind of come out of the woodwork here. I mean, they haven't been a super slow build. A lot of players kind of collected together over the last couple seasons, and they have done, I'd say this is their best season so far. They have gone toe-to-toe with Ascent many times now. And have even looked competent against Furyo at times. They've never secured a real victory over them, but they're like a step or two away from being able to put one over on them every now and again. And Ascent, a lot of people had kind of written them off too, but they showed us what they could do to Froyo. They took their first map away this whole season. Perfect season ruined.
Yeah, and that's what we like to hear around these parts is Spanny can't keep getting away with this. You got to get Aaron Paul, tears in his eyes, screaming for his life. He can't keep getting away with this. And so hopefully tonight we'll see one of these teams overcome the other in such a way that it convinces us that Freotech has met its match.
Well, and there's going to be one thing about big matches like this is you want to, even if the games are quick, because you just never know what kind of attitude the two teams are going to come in with. This is a lot like running a marathon. There's going to be growth in both teams during this game, and one growth will unfortunately be non-viable and will die. But one is going to come out of this a better team than they were when it started. That's just the way things go in these high pressure matches. And maybe a new star will be born tonight. Usually, this is regarded as the highlight of the season for a lot of players because you legitimately don't know who could win.
Yeah, and that's one of the better things. This is gonna be honestly, and I'm just gonna spoil it for you guys. This is many years in the future when you're looking at these VODs, you'll hear it here first. Freya Tech is probably gonna win. But let me tell you, this match here tonight that we're watching, this is gonna be high-packed, action-packed, high density, whatever you want to call it, TF2 action. It's gonna be pretty much back and forth the whole ride. But if I had to be honest, I gotta say, Ascent's roster, not only on paper, is just such a phenomenal team when you just go down the list and see all these great names. Mela making a comeback. You've got Mr. What's his face? You all know him. Corsa. That's the name I was looking for. Corsa on Scout. Badonsky, as you say, back in form. Marmalou on Roamer. And Slemnish, the Scout partner with Nursey, the semi-main calling medic. With hopefully, I remember you talking about it in the last match they had, back in her true form, because she was a little bit off. Some very uncharacteristic things, as you say, in their previous match.
Yeah, it was. Nursey had an off night, and which is kind of rare, but it may have been the map picks too, or maybe the team just wasn't in shape. I can tell you after that Froyo sesh last week, they're much tighter now than they probably ever were, unless SWIFT breaks out some of the ultra secret buried documents. But I think we're going to get some green text here soon, Ro. So I think that's pretty much it for. Yeah, they're going to start the first half. So here we go.
Just a quick rundown of the SWIFT lineup. We have AIM on, I assume, Pocket, with Yite on demo, High Five in bot mode, the Scouts, Laz on Roamer, and Zilly playing medic for SWIFT. We're going to be rolling things out here as Yite going to be going for the big door rollout, going to be getting there roughly the same time as Badonsky, who has a much faster rollout, getting through the choke. We see a little bit of aggression here from bot mode, who's getting into the face of the enemy scouts, clearing some room for AIM, as well as Laz to get in deep. The soldiers are working their way around the point, but retreating as the rest of Ascent have gotten the better frags on against bot mode and Laz. Thankfully, though, Zilly and Co will retreat, but Nursey and Ascent are not letting up. Ascent is going in deep into last through lobby. High Five is going to be looking down on Corsa. Not going to be able to get enough damage off there. Nursey will be, or excuse me, Zilly will be staying alive here, and the rest of Ascent will be backing off to finish off that second cap.
Yeah, it was very convincing Gullywash mid there. Unfortunately, we had to radio broadcast. The console crashed just as the match started. So he will be back soon. But just to fill you in on the things, SVIFT has a sniper and a heavy sitting on Gullywash last with full Uber. It is an even Uber situation, so I doubt very much is going to happen in the meantime. We'll see. Marmalou's trying to bomb in. Slemnish is on the point. Yeah, he's underneath right now. They tried to do the old double up there. This is actually going to... Well, Slemnish does not get the frag. That, had Slemnish killed AIM there, that might have been a breakdown. That'd be what my old friend Smooth used to call the blow up.
Yeah, very degrading to lose to that. Meanwhile, SWIFT are taking the opportunity to push forward here. Pistols are flying onto Nursey, finally popping her Uber off. Gonna be chasing in with Badonsky through the lobby door. Not gonna be cutting off any escapees, but High Five could get caught out here by Corsa. Chasing very aggressively, does not get the frag, almost loses his life in the process. Now Ascent have regrouped inside of lobby, but Slemnish chokes around jumps to the balcony, takes down Laz, and escapes out the lower lobby. And now he's inviting a lot of players to get aggressive here at the forefronts of this last push. We do see Marmaloo jumping up top, cutting off players, and gets the cap from water all by his lonesome. Got the frag, if I'm not mistaken, on... no one. He just stood there and juggled players before they can even get to the point.
Well, that was a great play. Actually, they had the soldier setup going lower, and then they had the demo just spam stickies onto the point, and then the pressure onto the point came, and no one could stop it because there were 8 stickies in the way.
Yeah, going into this next mid. AIM gonna be getting the first frag onto Marm, but Silly gets taken down by Badonsky. I'm not sure if he was trying to walk up one of these entrance ways to the top of the point, but he ended up getting stuck off, if I'm not mistaken. Therefore, bot mode goes in deep, grabs Mela and Nursey right before getting taken down himself, and Slunish and Corsa will be cleaning up the rest of these players. It's just Yite alive. He misses a sticky, and it's gonna be pistoled down by Slunish here, who has one in the chamber just for Yite. Takes him down at the end. Very late death for Yite. That could be big here, even though medics are down.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Theoretically, you could try and fight this second point, but without any demo, this is gonna be a big challenge. It looks like they're gonna at least have a peek here. Go from the upper. Yeah, they're diving on the point. There are not many heals here. Slumnish is gonna fall. Badonsky has really bad health. And yeah, AIM will get his Badonsky kill. So that is a blow up. They went ahead and took the risk there. Now it looks like they're thinking about wrapping around that right side through big door. Bot mode's already pretty well in, and Laz will come in below. Ascent will bail out of this one. And that was really good. They peeked out the door there, saw that the med was way far behind due to the way spawns work, and just made their moves since they had heals.
That's exactly right, and that is something that really enabled them to, not only get the kills, but to throw people off. And the big thing there was A managed to grab Badonsky before he could meet up with Nursey. He couldn't back out in time, and so that frag netted them this midpoint, where currently we're sitting at kind of the, how are we going to approach this scenario? We look at Marmaloo kind of holding things down at big door for Ascent on the defensive. Bot mode rushes in into the face of a sticky trap and Mela, who will go down. That's going to invite in Corsa, who's getting in through the door, getting a lot of damage onto AIM, who's just way too weak, going to get arrowed up very quickly, and that will be the end of that push. No one managed to sneak in from underneath. They're not going to risk it. We do see High Five playing very far back, watching any feet that might linger at the bottom of the drop down.
Yeah, it was that was an interesting sack play where they had as soon as the flank player went in, they squared around and spammed rockets at Yite, and which seems kind of silly, but it made it so that Yite really couldn't put a lot of pressure down because he had to watch his positioning so he didn't get hit by cross map rockets while he wasn't being healed, and it made a scarier situation out of a simple sack. So. Pretty cool. Bot mode here is going to peek around the left side, but there is a bait scout. Oh no! Slumnish will fall, but bot mode is there. So they just did a reverse bait. Usually you see it the other way around with the roamer a little closer, but it still worked anyways, and the sniper play comes to naught.
Yeah, bot mode, big with threat here. Meanwhile, Laz, coming in hot, does not connect more than a rocket onto Nursey. So they will be doing just fine here. Marmaloo's opened up the door for his team. He's keeping an eye on things, calling things out for his teammates who are also trying to work their way in through the choke, not finding any let-ups. As a result, it will be another reset, just not enough to push off of when it's just an even 1-for-1 sack, especially when you're on the defensive.
Yeah, really, I'd like to point out, really interesting play from Marmaloo here is anytime he can get around the corner here, he spams rockets at the little slope by choke. And he does it every single time he can square around it, and he's doing really good damage off of it. But it looks like we're going to see a rotational play here out of SVIFT. They got bot mode down here. I think they're definitely going to have heard. Slumnish probably heard that, and he's pulled way back. Yeah, he heard the crackle, snap, crackle, pop of the metagun with Uber. The question now is, are they going to rotate their combo at all? They're really slow, and Marmaloo falls.
Yeah, right now, Marmaloo going down. Slumnish will get the revenge kill onto bot mode. They start working their way in. Corsa peeking up aggressively. Slumnish took a little bit of buff there. Not going to be able to peek around the corner, though. And so now we see attention at the choke. Badonsky setting up traps Swift just once again kind of playing things around. With Bombo dead, I imagine he's going to go on Sniper again, but no, you see him on that Scout class. However, there is a much more interesting off-class going on here. On the side of Marmalou, just went spy to see what was going on. Never mind, he's on Soldier again. All is lost, Marxist. But High Five is going in deep. He's not letting up. He got through the sticky traps because they're all at choke. And now Badowski's rotated over here, going to be throwing in some traps. Marmalou going to get the better of bot mode. Try to sneak in through the lower lobby. Not going to survive there. And now Ascent surely has something to work off of.
Yeah, it looks like Slemnish is in all the way behind. He's going to give himself away pretty early by shooting super early. And they're going to send Laz back. Laz is having a blow up right now. No! He's going to blow Slemnish away. Slemnish, a little bit of a misstep, got worked into the corner there. I don't really know why he went there, but then he just got rocked.
And now bot mode has made his way in through the lobby. Marmalou rotated up to lobby, or excuse me, River, which is where the rest of Ascent have kind of positioned their heals. Bit of a trade here, but Laz getting the frag onto Badowski just after he died is really good here. And we do see a pause coming out here. Right now, we're seeing we have a very unique opportunity here, Marxist, assuming this pause is going to last more than 5 seconds. We get to look at how this push is going to unfold, and Marxist, you're going to predict the future, because you have that power.
Alright, so here's some stuff. In the back, we have bot mode versus Slemnish at last. In a 1v1. I hate to say it, but even though Slemnish has less health, I'm giving it to him. He wins that one. And then up here on top, we have High Five and Yite versus Marmalou, Mela, and Corsa up top, with AIM squaring around the choke. So AIM isn't going to play right here straight away. Who determines who wins this fight out at second is going to be Marmalou. If Marmalou takes a dive right now, that's a risky situation. Because, alright, so let's let our viewers in on this. This STV has delay. So this pause that we're seeing right now did not occur right at this moment. They actually just played this through live. There was no stoppage. So we'll see what Marmalou decides to do. He may play more passively than normal because Badowski just died. And there may be shouting. They know there is a player at last being dealt with by one of their players. So he knows that they're essentially 2 down, and that SVIFT are essentially 1 down, more or less, or even-ish 2, but no, Badowski really hurts. So the question is, does he drop on Zilly's head and force this Uber, and then Nursey runs away, and nobody dies? Then they re-push out to second, and it's done.
Yeah, the interesting thing here is Yite is pretty much the only one, until AIM gets it through. We're going to be seeing right now, no, he backs off. He wants to play more passively, but AIM is going to be getting around the corner. Nursey popping a little aggressively and dropping down, which is just only going to let them meet up with Slemnish, who I do believe won that 1v1. Or, excuse me, yes, bot mode is dead. So now we're going to be seeing great rockets from Marmalou to connect onto High Five and take him down, and Swift is trying to escape. Yite going to be blocking some rockets for his medic Zilly. And now the rest of the center pushing in very aggressively through this big door here. A little bit of an attempt here from Laz. A little bit low on health, though. Not going to be able to do much more. And now with bot mode, desperate for an arrow, does get snapped with that. And is going to be hiding behind the point here, trying to find maybe an escape route, hopefully sometime soon here. And now the scouts of Ascent are getting healed up and pushing forward. All they need is a soldier to initiate, maybe get a little bit of extra damage here. But instead, Slemnish doing so much damage on his own, almost takes down AIM himself, but AIM will get cleaned up here very shortly. And now it's going to be all but Corsa to take down everyone. He's going in hot, gets taken down by 2 good rockets from Laz with a follow-up from Zilly, who then gets cleaned up by Mela. And now it's some people in the forward spawn. This could be a little bit of a BM fest from Ascent if they decide to play the spawn camping game, but thankfully they don't. Instead, Nursey might get forced here, jumping as best as she can, gets forced into the air, gonna have to pop because she would certainly die to that crater damage. And now it looks like there's not much left to do here. Ascent lose their Uber for last. Zilly respawns. Hopefully they can hold things off for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't know, that was a strange play to make there, to exposure med like that, but they're going in, they want this Uber force, and they're gonna get it! No, it's a drop! And so, yeah, they did not want to pop there, and, or there was no Uber to be had.
There was no Uber.
Yeah, that's just, the HUD confuses us all. And yeah, they just rolled it through because their HUDs aren't broken and they're counting correctly. Yeah, and they tech paused after that. Yeah, so there we go. So it is 2-0 now, and Swift must be feeling a little shaken to take the tack pause.
Yeah, right now, Yike going faster through that choke, getting some good early damage. And oh, but Donsky tries to make his way around. I don't know what he was doing, but apparently he surfed into a crater and died, and Swift is cleaning house right now. There is a full wipe on the board, but the consolation prize is Marmalou grabbed Zilly.
Yeah, he did what roamers do, and when your mid is broken, you just gotta go for the other med because you're gonna lose the round if you don't. So they more than likely, Gullywash is a little harder, so maybe, but that's not a decision you really want to make. You want to play it safe, especially when it's lower bracket final. So apparently the pause worked. They went for an aggressive right-sided mid and locked Ascent in the little elbow room. High Five will die to a sticky trap in Riverside. But with the Ubers the way that they are, I mean, he's probably just gonna off class, so not a big deal, Ro.
Yeah, no, that's basically just you could say this is an expression that's used in competitive Pokemon sometimes. That's actually better for my opponent. Is High Five sacked as early as possible by dying to that sticky trap, and so now he's going to be able to respawn onto that sniper rather than respawning 10 to 15 seconds from now, and that might make a difference. With a time limit, 20 minutes left on the mark at the start of this round, and we do see Marmalou on that spy. He almost bumps into last and lower. It's so scary. No. Okay, he's gonna decloak here for sure, and then Zilly, who's thankfully looking in the corner, he turns around, he sees it, he's gonna call it for his team. Surely. Okay, good. Bot mode will go down though from Mela. I'm not sure what bot mode was playing. He was on scout, went for a sack there, and now High Five not gonna have too many other openings to go for sniping, as far as I can tell at this time.
Yeah, kind of a risk there to have Marmalou go out on spy there, but it turned out okay because they secured the extra frag while everybody was turned around getting a free spy kill. So High Five still trying to do stuff, mainly by stuff I mean running around and pointing his scope momentarily at things and then not really taking a shot. And because this is a tight defense. Ascent are pushed way up on all the doors. This is way back in the day. Blank did an episode on his stream where he came up with a hold for Gullywash last to be as aggressive as possible, and they're actually doing that hold right now, except for Blank didn't suggest having an engineer. But it was that exact hold that they were doing, so that was some vintage Vincent document stuff. And now we're watching a push out up top. It will be dangerous because there's going to be an Ascent Uber right here. And I don't like these Uber v Uber fights, but they do have some big advantages here until they lose Yite.
So right now it's up to Aim, who's actually managed to secure the frag onto Nursey, corralling her into the battlements, landing 2 rockets to finish it off, and everyone else is falling behind. Corsa, who dropped through lower, is going to be spawn camping Yite, who just needs to connect one more pipe. Does not do so, but Corsa is way away from the action, and High Five will certainly cap last for the rest of the team. Corsa doing a great job of killing Yite, but the rest of Swift were just on point despite losing their demo. That was incredible to see.
Yeah, Ubering out of last like that is so risky because you've got 8 seconds where you can't cap the point, and they're going to be getting respawns, or also 8 seconds for just bad stuff to happen.
So now we're going to be seeing if Ascent can retaliate on that last mid loss. Right now we do see Swift coming in high and connecting with so much damage. Aim and Laz are cleaning house with the help of Bobo, who's in the face of Nursey. Nursey trying to juke, gets the saw off, but is all but dead now. Pops the kill bind, and this time the wrong person died. Aim didn't go down. Or excuse me, Zilly didn't go down. It was
Nursey.
Yeah, Aim went
Yeah.
down.
Oh, yes. So, well, yeah. So, the deal there is Ascent tried to run an aggressive mid. They just got really destroyed by an aggressive mid from Swift, so they did the predictable thing and went aggressive themselves. And Swift has a scout or a Yite that called that really early. Like, they 100% predicted it and just blew them away. Now they're coming in on this last with Uber, kill the 7th player. And bot mode still down, how I heard. And they're gonna lose Zilly. Corso's coming out, but there's pressure on the point. There's a scout there as well, but this is a hard fight to win. Yeah, and it's not gonna happen. Laz is gonna try to escape and not make it. Yite is running around. He might be at risk. Bot mode's gonna think about maybe setting up for a back cap, but it does not happen.
Yeah, right now it looks like Ascent knows how to dot their I's and cross their T's as they managed to hold that last almost immaculately. Maybe it was just a misplay from Swift, but you know, when you have Uber and it just fails, it's just kind of, you kind of scratch your head and wonder how did that happen. And meanwhile, that Uber force came off and managed to grab Zilly.
Yeah, the thing that you can't let happen there is when you have the botched last push, you can't lose your med then and then lose them immediately again. Because this is just going to be a blow up unless Ascent managed to secure frags onto Zilly or Nursey rather. So that was good enough. It was essentially what happened there is you lost your 2 most valuable players 2 times in a row, and now you're going to get rolled.
So hopefully Swift can put on their best Ascent impression as they try and hold against an Uber, but I assure you Ascent is a little bit more cultured when it comes to pushing into these lasts. They've got a little more method to the madness. And so right now we're seeing an Uber force right off the bat. Course surfing into the Pyro who air blasted back. High Five doing his best to kind of split these players apart. Gonna get some good damage onto Badonsky here, corralling them into the back of the point. But Slemnish and the Scout, Corsa, get to the water, back at the point, and the Heavy is too far to dispatch with them. And so 3-1 is the scoreline for Ascent going into the second half. This is expected.
It's a typical Gullywash last push. They let in with the Scout, and then he ran under. And essentially, the reason you do that is you get point pressure after your Uber is over. You know if it's got stickies on it or not. And it may bait players to follow you into lower. Both Scouts stayed down there, and they just had essentially a 2008 Uber where for the finish part, where it was just Demo and Soldier kind of wrapping it all up there. But that was the second Ascent push we've seen that was clearly a pre-planned strat. Like, they've done that in scrims. They've discussed it many times before already. Because it looked like it was going kind of south there for a second. So, not surprising really, though. If you're a Swift fan, if you're flying this Swift flag, I wouldn't be too upset. This was not Swift's pick. And it was Ascent. This is clearly the map that Ascent feels that they are best at. And so they're going to have those trick plays and stuff like that you're not going to be prepared for on last defenses.
Yeah, I think what's interesting here is that Swift have sort of, you could say, it's hard to say you've mastered mids, especially when you actually just lost the last round. But when you've got a good feel for how to play a mid, how to play that rock, paper, scissors of the mid fight, usually, as long as they can get that right, you know, there's still a chance they can convert all those mid wins, even if they lose their mid, potentially convert it into, you know, those last pushes that get them the rounds they need to come back. It's happened before. You know, I used to say that in Invite, there's no such thing as a comeback from a 4-0, and that changed within the last 3 or 4 months, so thankfully, that is an option here. Swift can bring it back, even though it's only 3-1. It's not 4-0, but they can still bring it back, despite the scoreline.
Yeah, as an old friend of mine says, bonus points to Swift for dying as a team. That's, you know, that always used to be the thing. If you're gonna die, everybody needs to die at the same time, or your spawns are really spread out. They've just had that last whole round, and then the first round that they lost was just a cycle of them bleeding too many players in a row, and then everyone would die. Because it's just a hopeless situation. You have to try to kill their med. So that SVIFT has to not let the situation get out of control as much. And I think they'll be fine. So if anything, SVIFT I know is not a team that plays super duper slow. But if anything, when they do the little riskier plays, like pushing out a last, they have to approach it much more deliberately against this team.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. I checked out the stats. Now, if we show those on stream, I will preface that by saying that the damage per minute numbers look extraordinarily low, and that's because we had the pause. ESEA stats do count the pauses, so you're gonna look rough. So I don't know if we looked at them or not. I mean, we're in the halftime of what could be a 3-game.
We're in the present, Marxist.
Yeah,
we have time for the past and the future. Right now, it's time to look at Badonsky coming in through the choke, flying in at 9:46, the standard time. He's going to get some early stickies onto the scouts who are rotating. Swift now on the blue side, making their way through. Laz meets up with a soldier underneath, but gets cleaned up by Corsa while mid-air. Bot mode will take down Marmalou, who was underneath. Aim desperately jumps in, but doesn't get enough damage, and there's no one else to follow up, so Swift are quickly on the back foot. They're working their way through, and somehow Zilly just went the wrong direction. You go through the choke, not the slope. And now it looks like a desperate attempt from Swift to commit while they're low on health, maybe get a frag or something. Laz meeting up with Badonsky over at the big door. He's going to be backing out with stickies all across his feet, and Mela will be initiating to clear out the rest of the way for his team to take control of this second. Laz rotating through the baby door, might meet up with Badonsky, but knows better than to go through a sticky dot door. High five! It's on the medic! He's hiding behind the point, he jumps in, gets on top of Nursey, who forces the Uber, not prepared for that third shot, and pulls it off just in time. The trigger comes through, and Nursey will not die, but will lose that Uber.
Well, and good heads up play. I mean, there's the threat from the scout, but AIM was there spamming as well, and that's when you get your oops I drops, because you're focusing on dodging that scout, and then you take a spam rocket and die. So really good play. Ascent probably told Nursey to go ahead and pop, because AIM was in position. All he had to do was get a lucky rocket. High five is going to fall down, but bomb mode is undeterred. Kind of runs in there for a second. Zilly approaches aggressively, runs in front of the team. Kind of a risky move there, but nothing comes of it. And Slumnish will die. There, Yai is in trouble, but not that much. He manages to escape. Corsa decides not to go for the feed. And bot mode will be going on the sniper here at last. We'll see what Slemnish does. Slemnish is a competent sniper. Yep, there he goes.
And here we are now with the head-to-head matchup of Slemnish versus bot mode. It won't be happening for a while because they're nowhere near each other and bot mode's all the way in River. But River is looking pretty spooky as Corsa gets cleaned up there by I think it was a spam rocket that just happened to connect down the hall. So that frag is going to be very good on the side of Swift. That's going to open an opportunity here for High Five to just kind of peek his head around the corner and decide, nope! Slips around and then, oh! Bot mode pushing without the buff is going to get taken down by Slemnish. There was no winning that unless he was charging all the way through the river. And now we're going to be seeing an opportunity for Slemnish to connect onto any of these weary heads around the corner. He's charging up the shot. Not getting enough pressure. Finally gets dispatched with a little bit of damage. Oh, there it is. The almost exact damage rocket takes down Slemnish from mid-range thanks to Laz. So now we're seeing once again bot mode rushes in on scout, gets taken out in lobby. Nothing doing there.
Yeah, now we're going to see a sack actually from Marmalou bombing in. He's going to get in there and we'll take out him. Double pressure now. And Zilly's going to make it to the safety of the shutter door. That was a really nice play there. It's the unexpected that sometimes gets things. Too many people ran at the bombing soldier. Like, Marmalou went over there and just hesitated, and everybody decided that the proper response was to run at him, and that gave him the opening he needed. But now Swifter out, Uber is popped. Mela is gonna die, but then so is Laz in the aftermath. Ubers are popped out here. Nursey's got a way better Uber. And now AIM is trying to navigate this upper area. High Five does get the turnaround. Sundish is gonna die, and no, he's not gonna get another frag, but Donsky will take his life. And there will be more frags as well as a back cap. There you go. So that will be a 4 for Ascent.
4 for Ascent. Yeah, Badonsky hitting insane pipes, but I was so focused on Marmalou doing a little ballet, a little bit of a ring around the rosy with the opposing combo, and managed to sneak his way through river. It didn't make a difference though because everyone else was pushing through lobby. New mid, last chance for SVIFT, or at least the last chance for 3 more chances. Laz coming in hot, gonna be doing some good damages against Corsa and the rest of the squad. Ascent are backing out here, very low on health, and if Laz can just get a little more health, he could meet up with the rest of them. But Marm grabs Zilly, so this chase might not work out in their favor. They don't have the health to work with. Bombo doing a little bit of damage here onto Nursey. Yike is going to be sneaking in from behind. No, he doesn't go through main. He could have certainly gotten in there. Instead, they're going to be backing off, taking their one prize, which they abandoned from the start. Mid isn't even capped, and they're not even going to finish the cap, I don't imagine, by the time Ascent repushes.
Well, with this map, the design the way that it is, it's going to take Ascent a little while. The main thing is, do SVIFT expect them to come through choke? The answer is no. The demo was on the lower, and so this is going to be a really hard defense. But maybe they'll get lucky and get a nice rocket, because we're going in now. High Five will fall. The bomb is coming as well. It's going to get cleaned up quickly, but the bot mode sniper will take out Mela, and that's at least a consolation frag. That's an interesting play. It was a really soft defense from them, but it just didn't pan out. Now they're 1 down.
Yeah, now they're working with the sniper with the sight lines. An arrow flies across. Nursey not even going to chance anything until they finished capping it. They've locked it off, though, this time, and now bot mode is retreating. Going to be finding a new position to snipe from. No counter sniper available to Ascent. They've been expecting a last push with this Uber ad, but that Uber ad has all but fallen thanks to that Mela frag, as well as slowing things down on second, just with the presence of a sniper. So now we're going to be seeing, once again, maybe, potentially, some defensive shenanigans coming out. Bot mode has switched off to heavy, forfeiting that sniper to get a frag, and now we're going to see maybe a Marmalou bomb here coming into river.
Yeah. He's gonna pause. They don't rearrange, but he goes right onto the med. That was like that. They just ignored him. It was like they approached that incorrectly 2 times in a row. The first time they just ran at Marmalou and gave him an opening, and then that time they just ignored his existence and let him kill their medic for free.
That'll happen, you know? You just see the soldier go around the corner and bot mode's like, where's the scout? He's ready for Corsa. I totally agree with what bot mode was doing there. I'm pretty sure he was thinking, here comes Corsa. But as a result, he was not looking at the right place or the right time, and that lost in their med. So now the super's coming in, chasing down some frags. Corsa's going to be taking down AIM here very shortly. He exchanges life for life. This could be a sense push. They're getting more frags as a result. High Five goes desperately to the point, and that's going to be the end of it. A very quick second half, turning it into a 5-1 with Ascent coming through the gate swinging.
Yeah, a very strong performance on Gullywash from Ascent. Now, maybe SVIFT are just really bad at Gullywash. Their mids looked okay at times, but their last defenses were not great, and their push-outs were not great also. So let's see. What is the next map on the table? It will be Sunshine, which was SVIFT's pick. So maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they're the Sunshine Masters.
Sunshine. That's what I heard, right? Sunshine?
That's what the TF.TV says.
Well, this is good news for all you SVIFT fans out there, because SVIFT and Sunshine start with the same letter. And I'm not just saying that to be coy. There's more of a reason that these two are connected. SVIFT and Sunshine are much better than Ascent and Sunshine, let me tell you that. I don't remember the last time I saw Ascent on Sunshine, and that might be for a good reason. They've probably tried to avoid it at all costs, as far as I'm aware. I can't remember the last time Ascent was like, you know, Sunshine was a good choice.
I'll tell you when. So SVIFT.NA played Ascent on Sunshine March 14th, so not even that long ago, a month,
to the day.
and they beat Ascent on that map. Let's see who went ham, who went big on that night. The correct answer would be bot mode. Went 55 and 32 on said Sunshine, and High Five followed him up. So, what a surprise! Going 42 and 29. DPMs were not overly high that night, so probably a pause. But that was Ascent with Patty. So that'll show you just what a short period of time Mela has been with the team. 30 days ago, Patty was still Ascent's pocket soldier. So interesting, but I think that's the logical choice, right? If you had to do a best of 3 against the second best team in America, maybe you would pick the map that you beat them on.
This sounds about right. And so with that in mind, we can talk about Sunshine, maybe. Talk about the map layout. I feel like as a caster, when you done enough of these and you're trying to fill time, you feel like you talk about the same thing a lot. And I feel like we've talked about Sunshine a lot because one of the things I always like to say is it's basically a reskinned process.
Well, I would tend to disagree.
Layout-wise.
Yeah, like the intention of the map maker was to make it a lot like Process. Instead, they developed something that's quite different. Sunshine is a map that is really, really big, and it has caused some teams, you have to approach it differently than any other map in the rotation. And the reason for that is due to its size. So you have to be really conscious of the fact that when you push in, you have a limited amount of time to cap the point that you're going for, because the respawns will be there. Because the distance from your spawn to that point is huge. Or huge with a Y, whichever you prefer. It's really big. So that team will be back on you before any respawners or people who came back while you were pushing will reach you. So that makes it dangerous. It's also really hard to play soldier on the map in an aggressive way. So if you're a soldier who has excellent timing and who really thrives on being able to initiate fights, Sunshine really punishes you. And in part because of the map geography and also because of the size. You spend a lot of time in the air flying towards the other team, and they see you coming.
Yeah, that'll usually happen. Scouts have that mission in life to seek and destroy any oncoming projectiles, namely a big wad of meat that is the soldier. And so that's going to be really hard for Laz, I feel, who I think is just I say this a lot. I said it before. It's maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just like the way Laz plays soldier, specifically on Viaduct, and he also just has pinpoint accuracy with those rockets. Hits directs, not splash. So it's going to take a little bit more finesse, I think, for the soldiers of this matchup, as you say, because awkward geography. It's going to be a lot of airtime.
Yeah, they just get so much time to see you coming. And unlike, yeah, so we're having trouble with this STV, just to let you know. So we're going to contact the admins and get this dealt with. So we're going to kick it to music. Hopefully we'll be back, but we're going to try and get this squared away quickly. I mean, at this point, you knew it was going to happen. I'm cursed, so this STV is broke. It's going to stay broke. None of the players are streaming. So the damage control solution here is that we will update you via radio broadcast when this game is at halftime to let you know what is going to happen. If it does go to a game 3, that will be on Granary, and we'll see you then. We'll probably see you at halftime, though, for sure. We'll we'll update you on the score, see what's going on, and hopefully it's a good match. But we won't be able to see it because this stuff is broken.
But we might come back round for round, because that's also an option, Mark. So it doesn't have to be just half. We can go like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1.
Sure, we'll do a live score update. There we go. It'll be like an app on your phone.
Boop boop. Boop boop. That's gonna be the notification, guys. So just make sure you got that memorized. Boop boop. And you'll know that we're popped up or ready to talk. Until then, I guess we're sitting with the very long and hopefully long playlist of consoles onslaught of music. Boop boop.
The game has gone live, so stay tuned for further updates.
Boop, boop. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have an update on the score. Much to no one's surprise, Swift have taken the first round within the first 5 minutes. Currently topping the DPM is Corsa and High Five, literally neck and neck. They have 1365 damage apiece. And right behind them is Yite, the demo man for Swift, doing very good work at 287 DPM. Frags are going all over the place. Marmalou with 0 frags and 5 deaths. Slemnish with 2 frags and 5 deaths. And Mela having a great game, 6 and 2 for Ascent. Meanwhile, Nursey and Zilly both have 1 death apiece. And to round things off, Laz sitting at a comfortable 5 and 3, but the only players under 200 DPM are Laz and Aim, and yet they have a lot of kills, 5 and 3 apiece in that respective order. So that's the stats breakdown. This has been your hourly, roundly reminder to always keep your streams at max volume. Boom. Boop, boop.
And on a contrary note, Ascent comes back with a round, their first of the game here on Sunshine. So after 2 rounds of play, the score is tied. And who's our top fragger? It is Laz. We all knew bro would be
the
happy.
only one above double digits. Meanwhile, his teammate High Five is topping the charts at an amazing 350 DPM. The only one breaking 300 is Corsa, but clearly High Five is ahead in this race. Meanwhile, Marmalou has managed to secure his first 2 frags of the match, but I don't foresee him getting much more, at least not at this rate. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Marxist, that's your cue.
Well, I thought you were gonna do it. But anyways, so here's your update. I thought Roe wanted this one. So we were wrong. But now the third round is over, and SVIFT and A have brought it back 2-1. Your top fragger so far is still Laz, who's still double almost everyone else's frags. Surprising considering his class and the map being played. Your top damager is still high five with 356 after 3 rounds.
One of the other notable stats here is Nursey has 50% more deaths than Zilly. And if you'll notice, Swift has twice as many rounds. So do some NA math there and you'll know exactly where that leads. So this has been your roundly recap of Swift vs. Ascent radio style. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We've figured out the order. I'm going to be speaking now. And in a strange turn of events, Ascent have pulled back another round, bringing it back 2-2, leading the damage. Still high five. The numbers are going to be pretty consistent from here on out because now that we've gotten past the outlier data, the small sample size, we're getting a lot more averages here. And these averages are showing a consistent damage output from high five as well as Corsa. Frag's still in the hands of Laz, twice of almost everyone else on his team, as well as Mela being the only one in a significant range above half of Laz's frags. Right now, the frag difference between the two teams is about 20, a little bit like more like 15 frags between them, but the deaths are surprisingly the same. Once again, NA math is escaping me here. There's some numbers getting eaten alive in the ESEA stats, but though no, I've got it backwards. I'm an idiot. I was reading the point difference. Marx, you should talk because you know how to read.
Yeah. So damage is separated by less than 1,000, and there is a 2 frag differential. So an incredibly even game at 2-2 being played right now on Sunshine. But we're trying to do our best to bring you around. Now, the other thing Console points out, Nursey has only had 4 Ubers and has dropped one of them for a 25% drop rate. Meanwhile, Zilly is at 7-0 on the drops to not Uber, or Ubers to drops. So pretty good performance from Zilly so far, not so great for Nursey.
With that, I think we can go back and we'll recap everything once we get to the half. So we'll see you guys very shortly.
Well, in a strange turn of events, Ascent has won another round, making it 3-2 and sending the game to halftime. So, at the end of all things, Nursey secured 3 more Ubers and did not drop them, so turning around the game is Nursey. But more or less everything else appears to be roughly the same. The damage is still less than 1,000 apart. Frags are not even 5 apart. So, still a super close game, hotly contested, but Ascent managed to be the first team to win 2 in a row here.
Yeah, and that's going to be big because that kind of momentum, even though it's going to get stopped by the halftime, that kind of momentum really sticks. Saying, hey, we're doing things right. They made adjustments and still lost. Those are the kind of things that really help you when you're making your next move into the next round. And so now Ascent are only 2 rounds away from winning the whole thing. And meanwhile, we're going to be seeing Ascent practically 8 rounds away from getting anywhere closer to that victory. So with that, I don't think there's anything else unless you care to divulge some more on the stats here. Marxist.
No, that's about all I have to say.
Yeah, okay. Well, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be probably in a much larger break given the pause, some tactical decision making, and then hopefully the next round will either be a well-fought battle, and we'll see you after a while, or maybe Swift will get their act together, and we'll see you very shortly. So stay tuned and keep your volume up. Boop, boop.
You've been far away. What have you got to say? My heart is on display, but I'm not afraid. Yeah, I'm not afraid. Why you been getting crazy? I've been getting dizzy, trying not to keep you in mind. Now I know the thighs and suddenly enticing since you came back in my life. I've been waiting for you, been waiting for you, been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you, been waiting for you, been waiting for you. Do what you gotta do, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. I've been waiting for you, been waiting for you, been waiting for you. You left without a line. Was it by design? If what you want is time, don't go wasting mine. Don't be wasting mine. When it's starting to get old, I'm not trying to be cold. I just think it's time that you see. Now I can't wait forever. Guess it's not or never, but for you to get with me. I've been waiting for you, been waiting for you, been waiting for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting neck and neck. I can't keep this up, and it's not a bad joke. It's 3-3. Swift are coming back. The points are hair thin. They're right next to each other when it comes to frags, points, damage. Everything's lining up. Laz still keeping that upward trend, but the deaths are starting to rack up. He has the second most on his team, fourth most in the server, but still leading those charts with that big 2-9, almost breaking that 30 mark. Marxist, what else do you see going on here?
Well, Nursey hasn't dropped any more Ubers, continues to get them, even though they lost this round. What else do we got here? That's all I'm really seeing on the stats for right now. Marmalou has improved quite a bit as well. Marmalou had a really rough start, and it is getting back into the typical form there, I would say. So far, so good.
Also, Nursey pulling up the big 2 frags just from this round. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Getting 2 frags and still losing it. Maybe Nursey's team is falling apart and not stepping up to the plate. And so Nursey stepping up to that plate instead. But we'll see how things continue. Corsa leading the damage. High five shortly behind him with Yite as well, also keeping up with that pace. We'll see you guys very soon, hopefully with a 4-3 in Swift's favor. So stay tuned and keep that volume up.
Well, here's another update, and Roe got his wish. SVIFT and A going up 4-3 after 33 minutes played. I don't know if that counts to half or not, but
does a little bit.
Yeah, a little tiny bit there. And bot mode now taking that 250 high five at 265. Laz falls into third on his team in damage. But still King Fragger of the server, good enough, I would say. Nursey's Uber total is now the same. And the frags went massively in favor of Swift that round. So I'm going to say it was a roll. It was very quick. Their damage has now surpassed Ascent as well. So a very convincing round. Need I remind you that in this half alone, Swift have taken both rounds?
Yeah, and that's the crucial thing right now is that momentum that I mentioned earlier. This is the momentum that swings in your favor, especially when Ascent's like, let's just give it to them maybe. Like maybe Ascent can be champions and, bring it back, pull it back right now, clutch this match by the cojones, by the sticky bombs, and give it a good yank and detonate a victory. Marxist, can you make heads or tails of that analogy?
No.
Well,
But yeah.
that's yeah.
So it's go time for Ascent because otherwise we're gonna head to Granary for the final map. And hopefully that STV works.
Yeah, presumably the way it kind of works is it's like it skips a generation when it comes to STVs. This one just doesn't like respond whatsoever to our desperate pleas. But the next one will. It will not fail us. It'll grow up to become a doctor and have a bald spot on the top of the head because that's what happens when STVs skip a generation. So is that accurate to say, Marxist? Are we gonna see a
Correct.
doctorate on our next STV, our next
Yep,
match?
no heroin addiction on this STV. So we'll see what's gonna happen. No guarantees, but we can hope for the best. And we'll update you with either of Sense tying it 4-4 or SVIFT taking it to game 3.
Whoop. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making this up. Somehow we see a reverse roll for that round, not for the match, but a reverse roll from what Marxist predicted was much more in Swift's favor. This time Ascent has turned the tides, tipped the scales, and we see Corsa and Yite breaking that 10k damage mark, also hitting a lot more frags. Laz just barely keeping on top of those frags at 36, but Corsa as well as Slemnish are right on his tail. Bot mode also keeping up with the pace. He's kind of been away from the stat mentions up until now, but he's feeling his groove right now. And Badonsky also managing to come out forward with a positive KD along with Mela. Laz is doing so much damage, so many kills, but also dying quite a lot. Not as great as I would say Mela's KD. Mela's KD is probably, well, no, it's mathematically Laz is still much higher. He's averaging about maybe 1.5 to 2 kills per life. So that's pretty good. But other than that, Marxist, I'm not seeing any significant stat lines. I wanted to point this out last time. The deaths are matching the Ubers up until that round, apparently, because now they've died once more than their respective Uber counts.
Indeed. And still SWIFT and A are winning in the damage
It
by
finally happened, Marxist! It
less
worked!
than 100. Oh, really?
Refresh that
Oh,
page.
it's
We stalled
done.
long enough for a round to end. And guess what? We're going to map 3. Swift NA clutches it out somehow. Or not somehow, like, oh, what a miraculous thing. I was looking at the stats and somehow Corsa broke 300 DPM at the tail end of that fight. Or not even fight. Laz didn't even get a single kill that round. And looks like Yite pulled in the big dams there. Really coming in hot. Also, good Uber. Zilly gonna tie things up and even out the deaths against Nursey. Nursey and Zilly, same deaths. Zilly with much more Ubers. That one Uber drop could have been the difference in this match. This would have been an amazing cast. Thankfully, though, you guys were here for the very conservative, the podcast version of Swift versus Scent on Sunshine. And that's always good, right, Marxist?
Yeah, very cool.
Very relaxing, especially with all that jazz coming through, Now, what we could do, this is ridiculous. If we somehow don't go to a map 3, if the STV is broken, we can download this STV and retroactively cast this 5-4. This is an option.
Mm-hmm. It is a 5-4. 5-4s
We
tend to be
could we
good.
could actually, Console's been busting out the great votes in chat. I think it's time we do that. We're still waiting. We could still have a map 3, but like, could we get a vote maybe, Console, of if map 3 doesn't happen, will we retroactively cast So thanks for Console for letting us know that we were still live. Really kind of sweating that intensity of setting up that vote, but the votes are in. I can see it in chat. It's a vote nay if you want to do the retroactive STV cast, assuming STV doesn't work. Or I didn't even see what the second option was actually. And now my thing is breaking.
Biased.
Let the 17-year-old sleep. No, do not give Console any sleep, any peace whatsoever.
It'll
We're gonna
grow
be
some
taking
hair
it.
on his chest.
Yeah, come on, Console. If Sam can make it to 7 a.m. for a grand finals, you can make it to 1 in the morning, my boy. And Console's telling us he voted vote nay. I don't. When a look in the chat told us that was a lie. Sorry, that's a. I don't even know how to properly quote that meme, but it's something to do with lie detector test. Showed us that was a lie.
Yeah. So we're still waiting on this STV to tell us its identity, and then we will find out right away, post haste, what's gonna happen here. And we'll see if we can cast it or not. And then, if not, depending on the votes, we might do a STV cast. Maybe the first STV cast on TFTV.
Also, Console is or it's not Console. I wanted to say that Corn Pop is wrong. He said we can't do an STV cast, but I've already downloaded it. And even though I'm zooming at 1,000,000 miles an hour on the WASD keys, we've got an actual match that we can catch on Sunshine retroactively. So I'm gonna encourage Console and Marxist to download that STV, and then we'll probably go to that live. It's gonna be weird syncing everything up, but if this third map doesn't
tried
work,
and true method.
Yeah, if this third map doesn't work, we'll still bring you what might have been the greatest match of the century. And if you happen to not listen to it and didn't get spoiled by it, you'll get to enjoy every pulse-pounding moment of what I'm seeing in this first mid because I haven't figured out how to pause yet. Shift F2. Okay, I've paused it. But yeah, we'll be getting with you guys live with map 3 most likely. But if not, we'll break out the STV for the last match, the demo. That is. So stay tuned, guys. You're gonna get TF2 no matter what happens. Boop boop. Boop 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 boop. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've listened to our surprise tune of the night, that is not the tune of giving you a round update. That is the tune of we have a match we can cast. And it's a good one. It's going to be map 2 of Sunshine. We're going to talk about it like it didn't just happen 30 minutes ago. We're going to talk about it like it's live because in the YouTube edit, it's going to be a seamless transition. Everything I'm saying right now is ruining the illusion, but trust me, it's going to be just like we watched it live. Yeah, we'll edit this part out, and that's going to ruin the intro of this match, and then we're just going to pop straight into map 2. So we're going to wait for Console to quickly just splice everything up, and there's no more talking. This is live. Trust me, it's live. Marxist, we're going into Sunshine. We don't even have time to talk about the teams because we've got, to wait for them to listen to us count it down, right? Console
yeah, exactly.
And Marxist.
So this is SVIFT's pick, and they defeated Ascent earlier in the season on this map. So hopefully it goes well for them, and we'll see if they have some sort of Sunshine secret. I tend to favor passive play on this map, and I don't know how that's going to play out for SVIFT because they're not really known as a slow boat team.
Yeah. So with that, I'm actually seeing in chat they're counting it down for us. They're saying 3, 2, 1. Go. Ignore whatever you just saw on the camera screen. There was no Shift F2 demo UI. Match is live. Marxist, we're going into this first mid. Who do you want to look for?
All right, I'm watching Badonsky right out of the gate because he has been a hero all night tonight. And
yeah,
he screws up his rollout a little bit, doesn't get that surf, and is going to fire some stickies. Quick early aggression from the soldier is going to light up Yike just a tad. And going to see Tetris taken over by SVIFT, and then a trade over on the bell tower. And Badonsky will be the first to fall, followed by AIM and Bot Mode. The center getting the better end of this, but they come back with Slumnish and Yite trading out. And now it's a 3v4 with a clutch pinch over by the Tetris. And now they're chasing him out of here. I don't think Mela and Corsa are going to pursue. And that will be the end of the first mid. It will go to Ascent.
I just had to adjust some values. I had spec speed 10, and that was very fast. And now we're looking at a weird wraparound. They've somehow managed to sneak their way out. Somehow Ascent just didn't have their guard up, and now we're going to be seeing Zilly with Uber and everyone backing out. Nursey drops an LOL in chat. They were not ready for that great escape. And so now we're going to be seeing a little bit of pressure from Ascent. They are on the offensive. They've got Mela at the gate, just kind of poking his way, spamming some rockets through those little cracks and slivers. Marmalu going to be taking to the skies, gets some good damage onto Zilly, but Zilly will not walk into that rocket. He will back away and survive. And now we're going to be seeing a counter aggression coming in hot. It's Laz, knocks Nursey into the air. She'll pull a nice little wiggle, land over into safety. And now it looks like maybe Ascent will get the better of this because they have the respawn advantage. But Marmalu has a little bit of a trek to make, and Slumnish is behind right now, which could be a factor here.
Yeah, Slumnish is behind unopposed, and they're pressuring from 2 other doors. But now Laz seems to be coming back after him. He's going to get pinched as well by a scout in bot mode. But yeah, they will finally secure that frag. So sending 2 players back, we'll see if anything comes off of that. It doesn't look like it. Ascent had a window there when 2 players were not present. And that looks like that gave SVIFT the impetus to try a push. They go for that cafe push, but nothing doing there. It looks like we might be seeing Corsa just go in. He's gonna just take AIM's life, but die trying to escape. So kind of a sack turned into a frag, turned into back into a sack again.
Yeah, now we're seeing SVIFT take control of the cafe. Shoutouts to Cafe Monster, high five, showing what that was all about. Made his way through the Tetrises, is now chasing players down, did manage to pick up Mela, and is following up with a little bit of help from his friend Yite. Will be able to pick off Slumnish. Corsa now the only defending scout, and with no Mela to help contest, this is looking like a good push for SVIFT. They're coming in hot, good damage, but high five is going to fall to the hands of Badonsky. Bot Mode finishing off that cap, no respawn for Ascent, and they lose AIM as well. SVIFT, there's no way you can mess this up. Marmalu coming in very quickly, and also it's Badonsky who jumps around the back, grabs Zilly with the stickies, and Yite will have to kill him with the pipes. But now it's Heels coming into Cafe, or excuse me, Alley, and Bot Mode out pistols Corsa, who got the heal beam from Nursey. This is intense. Bot Mode going down now. It's going to be up to Yite, who's trying to make something happen, juking the pistol shots. Will go down to the rocket and Mela. And now it looks like Ascent are coming into mid. Might be a little bit weak on defending here. Maybe an opportunity. There it is. AIM coming in hot. I did not predict that. I swear I didn't know anything about what happened there. But it just made sense that they were pushing aggressively, and AIM saw an opportunity, and he took it.
Yeah, and that Nursey drop is going to hurt. This has really been back and forth here with both teams kind of really screwing up, and then they suffer the consequences of their mistakes. So it looked like SVIFT had really botched it. They were pushing into second, had everything going for them, and then it just didn't pan out. But that Nursey drop completely flipped the table. And we'll see. There's going to be a bomb from Laz 2 on the side with a sack attempt coming also. And it is going to secure 3 frags on Ascent with massive aggression all over this point. An orchestrated play. When this is your map pick, you've got stuff like that in your sleeve. And they're Ubering in now to take the point.
That air shot from Laz just completely destroyed Corsa. Corsa did his amazing little strafe thing, but Laz somehow, maybe he was aiming directly for Corsa, but he hit the wall, and that knocked Corsa straight into the ground, and he craters. And then it was just a simple walk onto the point for SVIFT. They took it down methodically. That was insanity. Now we're going to be seeing very fast mid from SVIFT coming around the bend. Looks like Tetris is under control, and AIM also coming in with a good bomb. Gonna die to Mela though. Only got a little bit of damage here onto him, and Laz is playing the long con. Gonna deny Mela, but he calls it out, but Nursey was not ready, and Laz picks up 3 frags in a row. this is looking like another round for Swift, as they will be able to secure some very good frags in this mid, getting a full wipe against Ascent.
Yeah, coming out really strong here. Gonna have an easy cap and the perfect setup for last with full Uber ready to roll in here. We'll see if part of their picking of this map includes a foolproof last pushing strat.
Yeah, now they're working their way over to what is the top left from the defending team. Ascent are trying to get Mela out of the fray. He does manage to pull the escape of a lifetime. And now we'll be coming back in. Full health, takes down Zilly, so no heals for this last push, and Slimness still sitting at a comfortable 450 HP, soaking up those heals. Aim is going to be coming in, getting good damage onto Nursey, but needs to hit one last rocket, won't be getting it, and Nursey down to 20 HP. But somehow there's time on the point. High Five will not be able to sneak a cap under the noses of Ascent. And it looks like Zilly, who respawned, will be building up Uber with a 70% disadvantage.
Yeah, that was a rough last push because that sentry gun, I don't think, they definitely didn't know it was there. And they started their push and kind of focused the heavy, and then the Uber went, oh no, there's a gun. And then whatever plan it was that they had was just completely busted at that point. And no pushing was had, but now the Uber comes in from Cafe. And it is getting around to Tetris. There is some bombing going on. Trying to get this one out. High Five will be the first to fall. A bomb actually comes on Badonsky. I think that was probably from Laz, and he ends up cratering on the way down. And now they're pushing in still off the alley. Big pipe actually hits Mela and stalls him for a bit, but that will be an easy second cap.
Yeah, now they're working their way in through this lobby. They've managed to push without having to use, but as a result, they might be aware, they should be aware, that the defending team does have the Uber ready, and Slemnish does overextend just a smidge. Marmaloo also coming in around the choke, I don't really know what to call it, does manage to die, and so now a little bit of an opportunity here for Swift to push out. Bot mode coming in through the dungeon, as well as the rest of the players coming in from the lower lobby. Going to be coming in now onto the patio. Ascent do force their own Uber off. Maybe getting some players in, but Badonsky gets disconnected in bot mode. We'll get 2 shots down against him. Corsa works his way underneath, might be meeting up with a last attempt, but Yite is aware of it and is going to be throwing in some stickies. Marmaloo also gets caught as he tried to work his way around. He's got the skill stick out, trying to get some cap time here. He's staying alive, and actually he's managing to win the round for his team with a little bit of help from, of course, the actual players who were fragging, but he was behind the point, keeping up that pressure on 3 HP. Very nicely done for Marm. It's tied up Marxist 1-1.
Yeah, the story of the end of that round was Laz actually popped out and got a great frag onto Nursey from lower when they were out there on second, and then Ascent just said, okay, we're done here, just sell out for the last cap, and it worked great.
Going into this next mid, we do see very good bomb from Laz. Laz doing a very good job of taking down Nursey, all by his lonesome. Now it's a matter of keeping Zilly alive. He's got a little help from Aim, gonna arrow him up. Marmaloo gonna be meeting up with the rest of the team, and Zilly will be surfing some rockets, but can't escape Marmaloo. He's got a lot of HP to work with. And now even Badonsky on full HP, gonna be working in with the rest of Ascent to clean up these frags. Bot mode around the corner, gets pistoled down as Corsa is unrelenting with those clip reloads. Finally gets the frag, and Nursey gonna be spawning a little bit before Zilly, but not enough because they gotta wait for the forward spawn. So Ubers are even, relatively.
Yeah, pretty immediate building from both teams. Surprising that your map pick from Swift, their mids are just not going the way that you want them to go when it's your map pick, but this looks like there's a little bit of an opportunity for aggression here. There's a lot of Ascent in the choke, and that's a dangerous place to be. Interesting defense, too. Badonsky holding Cap A by himself. You typically don't see the demo kind of just strongman it out there by himself. So, but I think cooler heads will prevail here, and we'll end up with a bit of a draw. And we'll see some sort of sack play come out here. Probably going to see that Marmaloo bomb any minute now. Oh, they're just going to Uber in. They decided to move to Europe. and it is in hot and heavy. It does get a force. AIM gets a great shot too, but this Uber is super good and is not going to succumb to additional aggression. But they're dying in choke, or Swift trying to push through, and now they've got to face Badonsky. Badonsky versus Yite. Yite has a medic. Who's gonna win? So far they don't really know, but they waited too long to succeed. And they're getting flanked. Nursey is trapped in this sideway too. So this is like two snakes trying to eat each other. And eventually it'll be cleaned up by Swift. But the sack comes in, it's all over Silly, but Silly is just barely alive. And is gonna survive there, grab the health pack. And they will cap mid row.
Yeah, this is really good for Swift right now, sitting on that huge Uber advantage. They don't have a demo though, and that's going to really hurt them for this push. Not a lot of damage output, but thankfully they have the numbers advantage, so it's more than enough to just squeak their way in through this alley, maybe get a little pressure on patio. Players are a little bit overcommitted here. Marlowe's going to be finding his way in, decides to back off. He figures his life is much more valuable being alive and kiting a last push against an Uber rather than going for a play right now. He didn't see the opportunity, and now Swift are coming in from lower. The dungeon is their entry point. The Uber comes off. Now they're coming into the face of Slemnish, who is a little bit healed, and there's a lot of pressure on point. This is basically how you win, Marxist. All you got to do is lock them out and then focus on the cap. They need to come to you, and that's where you can farm the frags with your projectiles. The rockets, the stickies, that's where you get your frags.
Yeah, Slemnish was nominal on arrows there and was like barely hurt at all, but just wasn't close enough to the point to keep people off of it. So ineffective there, but enough frags to secure the round win. But we're on to another mid.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Swift. They're all bunched up and waiting. Silly will be surfing away from some rockets, but nobody will be there to defend him against Mela, and so that's going to be the end of it. Mela's going to do a short hop, get the frag. Badonsky goes down, and Corsa as well. There's going an attempt on Nursey's life, and Laz will get it. We talked about this earlier. Laz is doing a very good job of getting the frags he needs. He's making his lives valuable, and right now High Five is also kind of working his way around, trying to make something happen. I'm assuming he's on second of the enemy side, so he's behind right now, in a position to go for a little bit of a forward spawn camp. Gonna get into the face of Marmalou, but Marmalou's gonna get the better of it. Oh, almost gets it, misses the rocket, and Slemish will get the frag, and instead a little bit of pressure coming out from AIM, who got onto the point now. Bot mode chasing a frag, a little out of position here. That is gonna cost his life, and now Swift are gonna be on the back foot, running things away, and Ascent are definitely looking primed and ready for action as they work their way against AIM. So low on health, Marmalou walks into the face of Zilly, but thankfully Yite with the pipe going to connect onto that and make sure that Zilly stays alive for this last hold. They still have Uber ad, but it's going to be negligible because their numbers are really prompting a push from Ascent as they're pushing in from the top left. Getting a little bit of pressure in, but that's going to be the end of it. Finally, Marxist, I have a moment to rest.
Yeah. And, well, actually, maybe you don't. Judging, Marmalou is out on the spy class running. So this is not a drill. We have a spy. Bot mode is running the sniper class. But, let's see. Marmalou is getting in here all the way around. This is a tough point to get a stab on because it's really open. And, whoa, a scout landed on him and he knew he was had. I don't know if they realized that they'd landed on his head since he was crouched. I mean, you'd have to be pretty on your game to know that your view was slightly higher than it should be.
Yeah, one of those little things like, wait, I'm taller than usual. I'm not used to this this FOV. Did I just accidentally activate my FOV hacks? No, that's probably not what happened. They probably realized it was a spy, not their FOV hacks. And Laz goes for the counter sack to no avail. Not to say as we can expect, but it's pretty expected for a counter sack to come through, and Ascent can prepare for that. And that's what they did. They denied it, and now they're sending in a player really fast. Marmalou gonna get the force onto Zilly, and now they're desperately gonna be rushing forward, and Nursey's all the way at the patio. There's no way they can get through. Sticky bombs above the shutter, above this little choke point, and actually High Five gets killed. I think that was over the maybe the shutter, maybe on the echelon, staircase area, whatever it is. He dies to the sticky trap, and now Ascent are looking like they want to take this round. They've got the Uber, they've got the numbers. Here comes the push, Marxist.
Yeah, will it pan out is the big one, because last on this map, as a way of getting away from you, there is the bot mode heavy. They don't have a surprise engineer, though, in store. Gonna try and search for frags. They find aim. Coming over to the left side now, that's where the heavy is. He is perfectly fine and is hiding behind his little wall. He's still alive, but now he's really badly beaten up. The demo rocked his world. And now it is all blue all over that point, and Ascent take it and go 2-2.
Here we go now into our last round of this half. There's 14 minutes on the clock because I have a a unique setup with this cast that allows me to see the timer, thankfully. So 14 minutes on the clock. We're going to be seeing how this pans out. A lot of time to go with, so we'll see how Swift wants to approach this mid. We do see aim going in really fast, grabs Slemnish, and Mela will also fall down to the hand of bot mode. Badonsky grabs Yite, and now there's no demo to work with, but Corsa is going to be making some work here. Gets taken down before Badonsky grabs the frag, and Nursey 1v1s bot mode on second. I wish I was following that action. Zilly gets taken down, and Nursey grabs the Uber Saw. So big ad in favor of Ascent for this round, even though Swift secure the mid.
It always feels so good as med to get that frag when you're just dead to rights. And a non-medic is chasing you, wanting to kill you, and you manage, especially with the saw. Which, you know, Nursey would have survived and had Uber anyways, but it just saves any kind of downtime. It looks like they're going to favor Cafe. That tends to be pretty popular on this map. And they will go out to the right and go for Tetris. But, oh, Corsa gets body shot, thrown back, and dies to a spam rocket, which was definitely aimed at the wall. And then bombs come through choke as well, and are going to take out Badonsky. And now this is going pear-shaped, and they're not going to be able to do anything here. Aim goes for a flank, as does Laz. It comes to nothing, but it does force the Uber. This one's going to be tough, because they're 2 down, and they just have to try and scam this out. Bot mode must get a frag, bro. He has to get a kill.
Ooh, there's a headshot, though, and then a follow-up from High Five, taking down Mela. This is just what they need. Ascent first losing their Uber, now losing another player. Looks like Swift are going to be pushing forward here through the choke point. Scouts are a little bit overcommitted here, and there comes the push from Marmalou. Going to get some good damage onto Yite, but he's very healthy, sitting with a full buff and practically no damage onto Zilly. They're going to be slowly grinding out some more frags as they work their way onto this patio. Low life on aim, but he's going to get arrowed up. And now we're seeing High Five calling out for a medic. They want to go through dungeon, maybe upper. Nope, dungeon is the play once again. This is how they did it last time. But Slemnish on that sniper, not going to be able to connect more than just a headshot onto Mr. Aim, a body shot, excuse me. And now we're going to see how these players can hold it out. It's Corsa on that heavy, doing a lot of work here from the side, getting healed up. Back to 300 now. It's going to be Laz on the flank. Going to grab some damage onto Mela. Will not be able to grab the frag, but he gets healed up, and now the counter Uber comes in from Nursey. They'll be chasing things down, and Mela will grab the frag out of Laz, but there's a cap going on Laz. High Five will get taken down by Slemnish, who will not give up that point if his life depends on it. Good air pipe onto Mela, who's very low on health now. Going to try and work his way around, and Zilly falls to the hand of Slemnish. It is just a Corsa grabbing aim. Might even surf into the face of aim, or Laz has the pistol out, needs to connect one more shot, won't be able to grab it, and we'll be backing off, retreating, while High Five will be doing the same, meeting up with Laz on their second, while Ascent finish off this mid cap. The forward spawns do come in, but no aim.
Yeah, aim isn't going to be a thing here. I mean, he died super late there, so what can you do? But they are pushing down the side. There is still the bot mode sniper, and he is evil eyeing this. So he does get a little bit of damage out there as well. The flank has to try to make something happen, and they can't get it done. No heals, it's really hard. So we'll see. They're going to just vote to wait for Uber, and now their sniper has to really give it to him here, because there's not much you can do to stop this.
Woo. And he gets taken down by Marmalou, who jumped right over the fence, guarding the valley, or alley as it's sometimes referred to. Nursey going to be hopping up with the rest of the team. They're going to be pushing in very quickly, but Zilly is not too far away from that Uber. Going to have to surf away, kite some damage for just a moment. Disconnects, though, and is not going to get that Uber. Still is alive, though, and just needs to meet up with the other side. Aim gets met up. The Uber gets popped. But unfortunately, High Five and Yite have fallen. So now it's just a waiting game for Ascent. They can't let themselves fall. They're getting a little bit too committed here, sending too many players. Laz going to pick up onto Mela, but Zilly will go down now with no heals, and Badonsky doing a very good amount of work here. It looks like this is all but done. Bot mode will get taken down, but the sneak around from Yite almost saves the round, but the cap time was too strong, and Ascent will be taking this first half 3-2. And I think we can kind of sit through this. I don't mind just waiting things out.
It's kind of dark there for Swift to lose. Okay, this is your map pick. You beat this team also during the regular season. Granted, they had Patty and not Mela then. I would say Mela is an upgrade. The issue is, if it's your map pick, and you knew it was going to be your map pick, you need to have better mids. Ascent, even when Ascent loses, which has only happened once, if I go by counts on mid, I may be wrong in that, but I feel like it's only been once. Even in those cases, it's not a convincing win for Swift, which you would expect from a team as good as Ascent, but you need to do it. Just has to flat out be better than that. You're not gonna be able to win this match if you can't win mid fights at all, because the order that you're setting yourself there is that you have to wait for Ascent to screw up when they push last or you're second, and they're only gonna do that so many times, Ro.
With that breakdown, Marxist, my friend, we're going into the second half. That was a very short round. You'd expect maybe a little bit more of a talk from Swift. You know, they're down 2-3. This is pretty much their tournament life. All this season for naught. You think they'd give it more than 2 minutes, but maybe they're just like, we got this, we know what we're doing. And so we'll see how they approach this mid. Laz sitting on top of that awning, getting joined by his teammate Aim, very low on health. Laz coming in now, backing around. It's a counter jump from Ascent. They're going to be coming in on top of this cafe. Zilly not going to be able to juke around Slemnish, but Aim will also have Nursey's number. It's looking like the battle of the roamers on this mid. We're going to be seeing which one comes out on top. Aim and Mela trade, and Yite and Badonsky are also going to fall to the hands of the roamer. It's Corsa and Marmalou picking off Laz, but Bomb Mode is not going to win the 1v1 against Corsa. Corsa is just a little bit too strong. We'll pick up his third kill on that mid, along with Mela.
Yeah, that's... They did a little better that time. Only one player still being alive to cap that point. Now, this is one part where Sunshine being so large actually hurts you in these sorts of situations. If it was a smaller map, you maybe could have fought for that mid again. We would have seen the mid refight. But now, because your respawns have so far to walk to get to mid, that's just not going to happen. And so you get a little bit of a breather, a bit of a break, as it were. And Ascent are in the familiar position of having one mid and getting ready to push second. And this is, I would say this is SVIFT against the ropes. You can't continue to exist this way. You have got to win a mid.
Yeah, that's... It was funny how you mentioned it. You need to win mids to win matches, and that just seems like common sense. But it is possible to lose mid and win the match. We'll see if Swift can do it right now. They're going to be denying that Marmalou bomb. Working their way around. We do see nice attempt from Laz there to kind of spook his way through that choke. Meanwhile, the rest of Cafe is opened up for Swift. They're coming in. They kind of want to commit to this. They're halfway in, halfway out, and High Five taking too much damage. Gonna fall, but Slemnish also goes down. A lot of aggression coming out from Corsa with a huge buff. He's not afraid. Takes a little bit of damage and will have to back off now. But Mela, coming off the respawn, is gonna come in, launch Zilly into the air. No one else to give the pressure. No fadeaway rockets or pistol spam. 30 HP is enough to take a crater for, and he will survive. Meanwhile, we'll see how they want to push this through the choke, maybe.
Yeah, bleeding 2 players there. Now it's going to be a third. There's Marmalou can't do anything, and he gets air stickied by Yite. What year is it, bro? He teleported me back in time to 2014, 2013 with that air debt.
Yeah, that I I wish I could talk more about air deaths, but we're going into an Uber force from Swift. Not gonna be able to pick off Mercy in the process, and Marmalu's checking things out, looking for off classes. Does not spot anything out of the ordinary for his team, and now they're gonna be pushing out. They have the 6 classes. They're not afraid of a spy back cap is the main thing with that, but they are still vulnerable to a back cap. No one's sitting on last itself. They're kind of watching every angle and working their way in, but bot mode's also keeping an eye out in lobby, calling things out, and with every second that passes that they're afraid of a back cap, Ascent is losing out on this Uber ad.
Well, the calculus here is Ascent are leading here, so they may just be content to hold last for 9 minutes. This map is kind of hard to push out on. There's the distance from the shutter door, the extreme right, to the left up the stairwell is pretty big and hard to cover. So the opportunity to be backcapped is high. They are gonna, SVIFT are end up going to feed 2 players here because they get their Uber and run a sack like normal, and only Corsa falls. So this looks like they're gonna send another sack out in Slumnish, and that won't get anything of note. So just a simple trade there, and went ahead and let their Ascent let their opponents get Uber, mainly because they just didn't care to push out, it seems.
Yeah, now with Swift feeling comfortable once again. They have bot mode on that sniper. He's gonna make that nice little strafe jump around the corner, and unfortunately he's revealed a little bit much with that dot, but somehow these players are still gonna peek, and Slumnish and bot mode are gonna trade 1 for 1 during that little spat right there. AIM doing a very good job of holding down, making sure that sniper can't peek too much up. Laz gets shot out of the sky by Corsa there. Marmalu will survive. He did try to go make an attempt on Mercy's life, but she will survive. And now bot mode is going to be respawned up, walking forward here, making something happen from the back lines. No way is Ascent going to be able to push out with a sniper, no numbers advantage. It's not in their favor.
Yeah, it's tough. We will see, though, the return of the Marmalu spy, maybe? No. He was just checking stuff. And I-5 gets domed, and so that might speed things up here a little bit. Corsa tries to make a play and goes ahead and gets killed. So
Yep.
that's, and you might say, well, why are they doing that? Well, you've got a player advantage, so you have a man to give, essentially, and Corsa is a strong fragger. So if you're gonna send somebody out in a sort of probing attack, you may as well have Corsa do it. Because if anybody can get a wacky frag that they shouldn't get, it's probably Corsa.
Yeah, Corsa's very consistent about rushing forward and just not dying, despite having, less than 180 HP. But that's the way it works. Bot mode now making his rounds over on the left side here. Gets taken down by Slumnish, who is a much sharper shooter. Meanwhile, Marmalu a little bit overcommitted. Or not overcommitted, but just finds himself in between a rock and a hard place as he lands on the ground with 6 HP. So Laz now gonna have an opportunity maybe to peek. Gets very far forward. AIM grabbing a pick on the Slumnish. This is the call. They're gonna be pushing in now. High five rushes in. Gets Mela for sure, who's disconnected from Nursey, and now Nursey's gonna have to pop. They're gonna have to wait. They're gonna get a much better milk out of it, but their numbers are gonna be very much detrimented. And so now, if they're in a bad position, they've overcommitted, and now it's gonna be a rat play from the right side. It looks like they're just gonna cap it. Huh. Marxist, can you break that down in
Yeah,
like
the
5 seconds or
Uber
less?
chased the wrong people. They chased out to essentially the smaller number of players and really committed basically everything they had to them. Meanwhile, the whole rest of the team pushed in on the other side, and there was no one there to stop them, so they just stood on the point and won the round.
And so now we go into our next map. It's 3-3, folks. 22 minutes in this half. Things are looking up for Swift. They've managed to come back from the downside of the first half. And now they've got a weird position on Laz here, who's managed to work his way over. He's going to get some good damage onto Slumnish. Slumnish gets taken down with a flat shot, as Marxist has corrected my history of TF2. That was a plot shot that takes Slemnish's life. But Ascent will be cleaning up the rest of this mid and also grabbing Zilly throughout that process. High Five hiding inside of Cafe. He is the Cafe monster, but he just got checked in the closet and under the bed. Because that's what you do when you want to get rid of a monster.
I'm baffled, bro, because you pick this map and you've only won one mid, and of which there have been several. So more than 5 in total, and they've only won the one. And somehow or another, they're still winning rounds. This is a tie game, need I remind you. So this is strange. And Ascent now are seemingly gonna win this round now. They're going straight in. There's really nothing except for bot mode to stop this.
Yeah, and as a result, it's gonna be some good damage, good health on bot mode. Yite also cleaning up frags very nicely, and High Five will just catch out Slemnish on the escape. That's a full wipe. Very good defensive hold from Swift. How would you rate that? What was the issue?
That was awful. That's about as bad as you can have a last push go, because you pushed in with Uber. You were invincible for 8 seconds. The other team did not have that. And then you failed to kill anyone. They didn't secure a single frag, and they all died. So that's about as bad of a push as you can get. And Swift now are swinging. They used to talk about swingy maps in TF2, and Sunshine definitely can be that. Because of the distances involved. And they're all over Nursey there. And are not going to get the frag, but Nursey really can't show her face here. And I don't know though, they're standing tall or Ascent. They're really committing here, because if they lose too many players, they're screwed. Like, that's round over.
Yeah, the last thing they need is to lose a round. They want to try and take this down. This map alone, going to be working their way forward across this patio. Corsa also working his way with Nursey. They're leading the charge here with that speed boost by being connected to that medigun beam. And now they've managed to sneak their way all the way across, but that weakens the flank. And because Swift are so distracted by, hey, their med is all the way at Tetris, they're going to let in Badonsky as well as Slemnish. Slemnish does get taken down there. Did manage to pick up a little bit of help against bot mode, and bot mode did get taken down there, but that's pretty much, or excuse me, AIM got taken down there. But that's the only frag in their favor, and now Swift are going to be pushing back through the cafe and catching out Ascent with no Uber, and they might even take a second. Marbley going in for the fourth, does manage to grab it though. So now with Zilly popping his Uber, looks like Ascent are going to be holding on to last very comfortably unless they somehow farm too many frags, overcommit too many players. And actually Badonsky here might get caught out, no one else to support him, and Badonsky holding his own against the shutter will survive that 1v1 essentially against Yite. And with Slemish on that heavy full health, they're committing to this fight somehow, and they're pushing forward. They're gonna go for the frag. They got time on the point here. A lot of damage onto the scouts and the soldiers. It's not enough. Ascent somehow does not hold off that last push, and Swift will cap it off.
Yeah, and now that's put them against the wall. It is 4-3 for Swift. So I guess they don't need to win mid. They just, Ascent are so bad at pushing last that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and so now with a 4-3 lead, Swift owning all the rounds on the board right now. It's looking really good for them to close off this match. Right now, Marmaloo messing up his jump is not going to help Ascent at all, but Badonsky will be able to get the frag into aim, but he gets taken down by High Five. So now this is looking like Swift's mid to lose. Laz going to get some good damage here, gets low on health, gets arrowed up, and now Marmaloo hiding underneath the point is going to be meeting up with some other players. Ascent scouts are doing so much work protecting their medic. Nursey practically on full health still, barely scathed across this mid, and now with some spam rockets coming down through the choke and High Five keeping an eye out for things. They're actually on the wrong side of the map, so they're going to have to go into a force here and try and deny this while waiting for their respawns to come in. But they got to watch out because Badonsky is also a factor on this point. They are going to be getting back to the point now on the middle. Laz and AIM flying through the sky. Mela joins the fray. He's doing some good damage as well. And it's a scout coming in hot. High Five takes down Nursey. That is exactly what they need. They're losing a lot of players, but they will grab the medic frag. But they lose Zilly. That was a huge bomb from Marmaloo. Yite will grab the frag, and then Corsa will retaliate That was such an exchange, Marxist. There was too much to keep up with.
Yeah, that was both teams just kind of defaulting to their reptile brains there, where they just did a simple Uber exchange and then tried to make it work. There was some SVIFT tried to do something really fancy with like this merry-go-round play where one soldier bombed then another, and it just totally didn't work at all. They ended up both just getting hurt and doing nothing, and that was kind of the end of it. They overthought it a tad. And now they're standing and fighting too much here. And they're going to lose their demo and their aim. And it's like Uber just said, I'm honestly really surprised Ascent aren't going here. Okay, they got it together, Ro, and they're coming in hot now. There's pressure on the point, but bot mode, he's really close this time. And the bomb comes in on the backside. Marmaloo will fall, so is Korsub, and that heavy, he's felt now because Slemnish and Badonsky get shredded.
Yeah, that's just what you want. Ascent under pressure, low Uber advantage. It's not enough to push. It's enough to push on, but it's scary to push on. So they got a little antsy there, and instead they're going to be forcing their Uber off. Coming into this last, it's Corso 1v1ing with a little bit of help of Uber, but Zilly will have his Uber this time round, and Corso will not be able to escape. It looks like Swift are in a position to push out. Marmaloo taking a lot of damage in the lower lobby, gonna get taken down, but the rest of Ascent are overcommitting. Nursey gets caught out there, and Badonsky will thankfully be able to pick up on a bot mode. They're gonna be pushing in from the top right. No, they decide to back out themselves. They will not be pushing in, and Swift will feel comfortable for a moment longer. They have the medic advantage, the Uber advantage. Not quite the number advantage, though. They're going to still try and work their way in as their respawns are just now coming up. And Silly drops to the trap. No one cleared.
Well, to be fair, Yite really can't clear stickies, so
that's fair.
He probably didn't even check because, I mean, even if it's there, what are you going to do about it? So he was just living with his reality, and results in a dropped Uber. So Nursey, though, still quite a ways away from said Uber, so they're just going to try and drive push this one. Maybe they're better at that. They will get the 7th player and high 5, and still no real point pressure, but SVIFT are really broken up here and are enveloped by Ascent players, and I don't think there's anything they can do there, no. So Ascent are going to tie it up 4-4. Here and try to come back here. They're winning mid every time, Ro, so this shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, we're looking at Ascent. They could close this out right now. Badonsky meeting up on the front of Cafe. We're going to get eyes on, I want to say AIM is going to do something this mid. I'm feeling it. AIM is sitting up top, keeping pressure on that bell tower. Laz is going to be the first to initiate here, but he backs away, and AIM comes in hot, gets onto Nursey, grabs the frag. And that will take down the heals. And now we gotta say, protect Zilly at all costs. We do see Corsa grabs the frag on the Laz there. Badonsky throwing in some pressure, stickies from the flank. Oh, big damage on the Zilly. Badonsky needs one more to do it, but he can't. It's just Slemnish comes around the bend, and bot mode will deny it. Ascent have wiped. Nursey just now respawning, and Zilly is alive. Swift can close this out right now and bring us to a map 3, Marxist.
I mean, the thing I saw at that mid was Yite went pants on head crazy there. Like, that was huge. Yite did not miss throughout most of that mid. And that is what his team needed. And this is a huge mid win. It's only happened one other time for them. And they've got giant Uber advantage. Basically everything going right for them to close this one and send us to Granary.
So right now we're seeing the push coming in. High 5 rushes forward, calls out the sentry, is going to sit on the corner and actually gets a lot of cat time in. Going to meet up with the sentry. It's not being dispatched with, but they're still getting so much time, and well,
you know the result.
Unfortunately, we can't see the result. There's maybe like a few more details to how that last push went, but with what I saw before the STV magically died on us, I'm going to say that that was practically capped and nobody was quite on the point enough. So all they had to do was wrap around the right side, tap it for a second, and the round was theirs. And I think at this point we can drop the charade, Marxist. This was a demo.
Yeah, it sure was. So good to know that the old demo thing still occurs.
But the winner of that
And,
was Swift. They did win 5-4.
Yep, they sure did. So that ends that, and Swift will take us to the third game.
Yeah. So the third map going to be what is known as, I think the map was Granary.
Granary.
Granary was the map that we're going to be seeing. It's going to be the final map of this best of 3. We're going to have to wait because right now it hasn't loaded the demo. I guarantee you it's going to load, but for whatever reason, the demo hasn't loaded yet.
That's why it says pending. Yes.
STV, not demo. I'm thinking of the last map, Marxist. I'm sorry.
So
Put your
yeah.
tinfoil hats on, guys. This is live. This is an STV.
Yeah. So we're just gonna wait for everything to load up here. We will be back in some
Shortly.
minutes. Yeah, and we'll get everything set up for you for game 3. Dun dun dun.
Boop, boop.